Hi everyone, my name's Nick and I'm the Country Manager here at Beepo. We offer outsourcing services for real estate agencies that are looking to become significantly more productive and efficient. Let me give you a bit of a rundown about how our real estate team actually works. At Beepo, we have many positions to assist our clients in the real estate industry. These include sales assistants, trust account and marketing staff. We also have a couple of our most popular products, the property management assistants and Rock End property assistants.
Hello and welcome to the show. I want to tell you a story about ToolPapi. ToolPapi Real Estate in New Zealand, beautiful part of New Zealand on the Kapiti Coast actually, opened its doors for the first time in 2012, and it promised a new generation of ethical real estate agents with new ideas about how real estate should be done. We're going to catch up with one of the co-founders of ToolPapi Real Estate, also my guest in Tech Talk this week, Sam McIntyre. Sam, you're on the Kapiti Coast, as I mentioned, a beautiful part of the world, and welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Yes, there's no place like home. So our head office is located in the Kapiti Coast, but we cover a lot of New Zealand.
Well, we're going to get a chance to talk about ToolPapi. As I mentioned in the intro there, opening your doors for the first time, I think, in 2012. If I might say too, from an old guy to a young guy, you're relatively young to have been operating as the co-founder of a business for 7 years, but maybe it's that beautiful New Zealand climate that keeps you looking young, Sam. I don't know. What do you reckon?
I will take it. So actually, I'll correct you there. I wasn't a co-founder, but I was here on day one, and I was the first franchisee, and then I bought into the company fairly early on as well. So
okay.
Co-founder now, but David Graves, he founded the company in 2012. I was just there on day one.
Okay, well that's good enough for me. You were still there on day one in 2012. Let's talk about ToolPapi, because you know the history of it, and I mentioned there about how you'd opened. We're hearing a lot about ToolPapi in this part of the world anyway. So tell me a little bit about why it's so different.
Yes, so we are the largest disruptor in New Zealand, the largest alternative model, I would say. And we've disrupted the model in a number of ways. So one is our structure, our model having one centralized head office. So to start off with, I guess it's important for the viewers to know we're a full service agency. We deliver high-end service. We disrupted the model by having one centralized head office. And I know people probably think about purple bricks or something like that when you start talking like that. But really, we've got a smart model with one head office for the whole country, servicing nationwide, providing all the infrastructure and support that an agent would need for their day-to-day running of their business and more, just from one location. So that allowed us to basically centralize the cost as well. And instead of having 192 offices over the whole country with the rents and the people inside those buildings, we got to cut out that cost, because my belief is that the office plays very little role in selling a property these days. It's more housing agents and marketing the brand as a, hey, look at our office. Very little role in the actual selling of the house. So we cut out all of those, which allowed us to reduce our fees to the consumers, which they love. We got great agents, so we got some of the top agents in the country. And then other disruptions would be, so one is the model. One is that allows us to charge a lower fee. And then the third thing that can allow us to do is actually pay the agents a higher percentage of the commission. So our agents can go out and charge the seller less, but be earning about the same amount or more as what they would have by charging a higher amount, because we can.
Well, this is a tech show, and I do want to talk to you about tech, because without that, you simply wouldn't be able to operate the way you are now.
Exactly.
Yeah, so can I want to go off tech for a moment, because I'm really fascinated with the model. The style of agent you're attracting, do you find that they are attracted to the model because they love that relative freedom? They don't have to turn up to an office. They can pretty much work in their own environment, in their own town, and in their own way. And I guess in a lot of ways, out of the car or out of their home.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the things that attracts people. So, not having to turn up to the office, not having to sit through the sales meetings, not having to do the the caravans, we've got duty over here, desk duty, where you have to sit there and man the office for a certain period of time. People hate that often, and people do like autonomy. A lot of the top agents that I meet with all over the country, they like working from home. When we're busy as agents, we're out of the office. The agents who sit in the office all day, they're actually not the ones doing the business. The busy ones are out in other people's homes, appraising, listing, selling, negotiating, doing deals. So yeah, look, freedom, autonomy, going out, working from home, people love it.
Okay, so you've got the one office centralised in Kapiti, on the Kapiti coast there. You've extended across New Zealand. Give me a picture about ToolPapi. Now, how many agents do you have, and how has the growth been since 2012?
Yeah, okay. So in 2012, we started with just David and I. And David was the founder, and I was a brand new to real estate person. So I'd never been in the industry before. I'd moved back from Australia, actually. My networks were gone, and we were starting from scratch. So we were going out, and I saw a brand that I resonated with and an offer that I knew would resonate with Kiwis. So I thought that I could take that and roll with it and move really quickly. So as a test case for me, within 6 months in the industry, I was holding 35 listings to myself. And when I looked around in my market, a whole bunch of experienced agents, heaps of agencies, a very competitive market, nobody had anywhere close to what I had. So I knew that it could grow, and off the back of sort of what I was doing, we grew, and we attracted somewhere near 70 agents within a couple of years. But what happened was the infrastructure in the head office, there was no head office. It was David and a part-time admin. So the scale at head office level hadn't kept up with the growth on the ground. So when I came in as an owner, so there was a bit of water to go under the bridge there. There was becoming a franchisee and growing an area. We'd grown quite quickly, and when I came in as an owner, the infrastructure in head office wasn't there to support the growth. And the people that we had attracted along the way, they loved the company, they loved the brand, they wanted to be involved, they wanted to be leaders and innovators, but weren't necessarily the highest achieving real estate agents. So we had a whole lot of advocates, but not great sellers. There were a mix of great sellers, but what we ended up doing actually when we came in as owners, so 2 owners came in, so now there's 3, and we scaled the business back. We actually culled the number of agents from about 75 down to about 35. And then we spent about 2 years resourcing our head office with all the best people that we could find in every area that you would want covered in a business. And that way we knew that when we started our growth journey again, we could actually throw a huge number of people in and support them well, and they could go off and it wouldn't be a train wreck. So we spent about 2 years to do that, bringing in all the right people, cherry picking people from other businesses, from places that we knew, from ex-employees that we had, and we built a very, very strong head office infrastructure. So then that allowed us to push forward and go into growth mode again. So over the last few years now, we've been throwing in agents and doubling year on year, and we're up at about 140 odd agents at the moment. And the goal by the end of the next financial year will be up to 200, 250.
Okay, so along the way, you've identified there the fact that you scaled down from 75, I think you said, down to about 35 or 40 or something in that order. That would have obviously been a light bulb moment for you and the partners to say, hey, we've got to change the model. This is a mistake. And I guess that's one of the key things, the learnings about any businesses. You've got to identify what the errors are and correct them fairly quickly. Were there any others that you can highlight for us in the journey to where you are now? It was
actually a really ballsy move to do that because the size of the company and the amount of people that we were throwing into the head office and the cost of doing that versus what was coming in from a small team. So backing ourselves and investing our own capital into resourcing that. Other things were actually surprisingly, and I guess we learned a little bit along the way, we had to increase our fees. So when we started, we were a flat fee of $10,000 plus GST for any value property. And amazingly, we had to increase our fees in the higher end to actually get business in the higher end. Same product, same service, everything the same, but before it was too good to be true. When someone was 30 and we were 10, there was something wrong, or you weren't doing something that others were doing.
Incredible.
And we had to increase our fees to be able to compete at the higher end of the market. So that was a major adjustment that we made as well.
Just on that point, have you got one flat fee, or have you got a scale of fees?
So now we're a tiered flat fee. So different price points have different flat fees, within ranges, within bands. Because if you're too far away from the competitors, it's cheap, it's budget, it's too good to be true. When, we've got amazing agents, like top agents in the country, and they're saying, hey, we're doing all this stuff and we're doing it better and all of that. But when there's two identical things, I guess, if you have two cars sitting next to each other, one's 30 grand and one's 10 grand, there's something wrong with the 10 grand one. Even if it's the same color, the same make, the same model, the same year, the engine's buggered, it's going to blow up. Who knows? It's too good to be true.
It's perceptions, and that's probably a great lesson that maybe Purple Bricks have learned. I mean, you used them as an example earlier, so I'm bringing them up again. Hey, can I just talk to you about, then let's get into tech, because I think that's been a benchmark behind what you've been able to do, or a leverage point. Well, what do you see the current tech developments that are helping the industry grow that you've been able to harness?
Well, from our point of view, I guess we've got a slightly different model. So things like, we're on a Skype right now. So we use Zoom for business. We just find it as a platform. It can provide us what we need. We can have 100 and something people tuning in from all over the country. We can record it. We can send it out. So tools like Zoom, as an example for, company communication or training or any number of things, and we can record those and they can sit in a video library and people can go in and access them whenever they like. Tools like that are gold, amazing. We have things like, we use an Australian company, Spinify, for leaderboards and goal setting. They're a great company, so that's an app and agents can go in there anytime. They can see where they're sitting on a leaderboard across the whole country. They can set goals. They can see how they're going against their goals. Basic things like Facebook. We've got, a private Facebook group which every single person in the company is on, and it's a place, we call it the water cooler because we don't have one in every office. So it's a place where people can come and they can chat and they can share things, and it might be business related, it might be sales related, it might be someone needing help with something, and everyone from all over the country, or whether they're a salesperson, a franchisee or head office member, they can go in there and communicate with each other, help each other out. So some of those sort of tools for us are massive. In terms of growth of the industry, I thought about this question, and we're sitting in we're kind of limited by the market, aren't we, in real estate? The number of people who are willing to buy and to sell. And you talk about the growth of real estate. If I look further afield to America and the iBuyer movement, maybe something like that can help grow the industry. Traditionally, we go along by however many people need to buy, however many people want to sell, and the market is dictated by that. Growth of the market is sort of outside of our control a lot of the time. But if buying and selling a house becomes so easy, and it'll be interesting to see how it goes, but if it becomes so easy as sticking your address into a website and going, yeah, I like that price, sell, then maybe more people will sell.
So what do you see as the future agency? What's it going to look like? And what will the future agent look like himself or herself?
Yeah, so agency and agent, it's an interesting thing to think about. I think agency, certainly our model, I think, is the way of the future. The office on High Street in every single town surely can't be sustainable. The rents are just one thing. The people inside them, the admin people, the marketing people, the branch managers, all those layers of cost, I don't see as sustainable, especially when there's downward pressure on fees across the world. So I feel like a centralized model is 100% where that will go. As an agent, I feel like the technology that enables an agent should just allow an agent to go out and build relationships and be in front of people. Putting deals together, listing and selling homes, negotiating offers. That's where the value comes in, the expertise, marketing properties. All of the other stuff, I'd say, would be automated.
Very interesting. Hey, we're just about out of time. Sam, before I go, I just want to ask you, what's the tech tool that you couldn't be without?
Oh, look, it's pretty basic and it's probably the same thing as everybody else, but without your listing management system, CRM, I think, things would be very hard. It's a basic fundamental that every agency's got. It doesn't have to be a flashy thing, but, nowadays there's a lot of good tools inside of those things that can help you automate and do amazing things.
Good talking to you, my friend. Thank you very much for your time.
Pleasure.
Look forward to catching up again soon.
Thank you.